a 2007 Mario game about the power of love, and
a TV show about the struggles of a young surgeon with autism.
Let's see why these things are our favorites.
We did it! Then it goes
Good video!
to our intro.
Dollar store duo. I really thought she was gonna sing along.
I don't know why you thought that.
Yeah, over here, the little pop-up will show.
It is. Go watch our first
Please
video.
watch our stuff. Please, we need views. Mario flips out. Run through worlds. Flip to 3D. Play as Peach and Bowser. Level up. Use items. Shake the remote to get stylish. It says it on the box because this is Super Paper Mario, one of my favorite games of all time.
So, what is Super Paper Mario? Just another Mario game? Like you just run around and you're like, boom, boom, boom.
Sort of, yes, but it's got something special. There's a series. There's actually 5 Paper Mario games. Oh no!
If you scratch that, you just stay
You're
over
getting
there.
it.
No, it's now time for your cameo.
The 1,000-Year Door is actually considered by a lot of people to be the best Paper Mario game, but there are also a lot of people who have a very special place for Super Paper Mario in their hearts because of the story. I'm one of those people.
Is it more story-driven?
It is very heavily story-driven. The plot of Super Paper Mario is, like anyone with a heart at all, very touching. The story is specifically about 2 characters. It's sort of a love story. That's something unique about it.
I smell Play-Doh.
There's a lot of different worlds and little hints at bits of backstory. Old civilizations. You never know exactly what happened 1,500 years ago, but you know just enough that you can get your own ideas and you can enjoy the game.
Well,
Today, that's the start of the game for all of you people who haven't played it. Is that the very first line is today. I'll tell you the story of the lost book of prophecies.
I'll tell you a story
Lovely
about
singing.
the lost book of prophecies. Prognosticus, prognosticus, it's the dark. Prognosticus, 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 it's the dark. Prognosticus.
A book was written, a book of prophecies foretelling the end of all worlds. All worlds. There's many different worlds completely separate from each other.
While I might look basically the same, as you can tell, she looks different. It's not because she went and changed her clothes or anything. This is day 2.
Okay.
4 reasons.
Many years before the beginning of the game, the Dark Prognosticus was written by nobody knows who wrote it. It foretold the end of all of the worlds. A group of people living in that time, the ancestors of some of the characters currently living in the game, found out about this Dark Prognosticus, read it, and were like,
That's not good.
so a bunch of them got together and wrote something called the Light Prognosticus to try and counteract the effects, pretty much. Mario, along with the 3 other characters that you can play as in this game, are the legendary heroes who could potentially save all worlds from being destroyed. To do that, you have to collect pure hearts, fragments of the purity heart that's based off the power of trust and love. It was created many years ago to try and stop the whole Dark Prognosticus, void swallowing everything, chaos heart destroying it all.
I will destroy everything. I will consume all worlds and return them to the void. Your life is meaningless.
And that's pretty much the story, or the main idea of the plot.
So those are our protagonists. Who are the villains?
I love the villains in this game. They are really good characters and really good villains. very interesting. They're fun too.
Yeah.
There's a team of 5 at the beginning. The villains include Chunks, big, strong, big Scottish warrior guy who fights you and throws you around like a pinball. But he's cool.
He's like called Chunks because his body seems to be
Yeah,
chopped up except held together by air. I
Hold
don't know
on.
why I
Hold-
need extra support for whoever this is.
Dementio, because Dementio can levitate.
With heart.
He is a creepy purple and yellow mask-wearing jester who can make his own he made his own dimension to fight you in. He's a whole thing to deal with. And then there's Mimi, a shape-shifting girl who can take on other people's appearances and also
It's kind of saucy.
but she can also turn into a big, weird spider and chase you around. Now we're down to the last 2 villains. Nastasia, the secretary, the only one of the villains you never fight. She's the assistant to the
Oh,
most
yeah.
major villain.
She's cool.
And-
She's very dry. She has a dry
Yeah.
wit.
But I can't explain all of the reasons these characters have depth and are good characters because it's all spoilers.
Spoilers.
But trust me, oh I love.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
And finally, we're at the main villain of the game, Count Bleck. I think he might just be a floating head. Such a good character. The game starts out giving you the impression that he's a very generic villain just trying to destroy the world and no real depth, just a plain generic villain. And then he's not. He's a character with depth.
We should dance.
Wake up!
Okay, so that's the villains of the story. So what does Mario have? Who's he got on his side to help him out?
The pixels. The first one you get is Tippy, a little rainbow butterfly and your big helper. Your one pixel who is always at your side. She starts out also kind of generic and gets more personality and life to her as the game goes
You get
along.
like more and more of her story and
Yes.
stuff.
There's a lot of pixels. Maybe we'll have all of them here. Gesturing in front of your face again. Gesturing in front of her shell, part 2, the gesturing. Part 2, electric boot.
That was funny.
This whole video is useless.
The gameplay. Pretty standard fare for a Mario game. In the very first part of the very first chapter of the game, you get the ability to flip from 2D into 3D. Go behind things that are in your way and stuff, or find hidden passages.
Am I okay?
Yeah. Now, aside from that, every time you finish a chapter, you will get a few cutscenes. Mostly you just get cutscenes of the villains discussing their plans, using that to give a little bit of character development.
Now, at the end of every chapter, isn't there something neat?
Aside from the villain cutscenes, there's also special little information. There's this plain screen with nothing but text, told only through dialogue, telling you the story of 2 random people, Blumiere and Timpani, the story of them falling in love, little chunks of conversation taken with absolutely no context, and you've got to piece that together for yourself as you go on through the game. Also, I love the Super Paper Mario soundtrack. It's maybe not one of my favorite game soundtracks ever, but it is really good. It is like a lot of the story can be told through the music. The memory songs that slowly keep gaining more things as you gain more information and bounding through time.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
So here's some fun trivia about how the idea of the game came into existence. Chief Director Ryota Kawade was riding a train thinking about how to adapt a minigame from the previous Paper Mario game, The Thousand-Year Door. He saw the other end of the train and thought it kind of looked like a stage in a Mario level and had the idea of, from looking at it 2D to 3D. That's a pretty interesting way for a game, for a major game concept to come about. It's like just looking like, that looks like a Mario game.
Yeah.
How about I make that a Mario game?
Yeah.
3D.
Yeah. It's interesting though. I mean, you know, that's
it's
creative stuff can really just come
creative stuff comes from anything.
Yeah.
Sometimes maybe you'll just drop a rock on the floor and be like, haha, that's funny, I'm gonna make that humor.
Rock album. So, what is it that makes Super Paper Mario this month's favorite?
A lot of things. For one, I have sort of a sentimental attachment because it was something I got into when I was like 8, and you know, I'm only 14.
That was half your life ago.
Yeah,
since you're younger,
it was. Yeah, so I sort of have an attachment to it because I've liked it for a really long time. I mean, it's just got a really good story. I mean, it's lots of backstory that make you want to learn more about the story of the game. The ending will make you cry unless you have no heart. It's fun. It has good humor and good emotional stuff.
Привет, как дела?
Хорошо. Koshko Malika.
Нет, нет. До свидания. Пока.
So, how about your favorite?
Okay, so my favorite is a TV show called The Good Doctor, which actually just finished its first season, which is great because now it's over and you can go watch the whole thing. The basic setup, Sean Murphy, this young surgeon, has both autism and savant syndrome.
Who are you?
I'm Dr. Sean Murphy. I'm a surgical resident at San Jose St. Bonaventure Hospital.
He's played by Freddie Highmore, who's a fantastic actor. He's got this mentor, he's almost like a dad to him character, Dr. Glassman, and he's the president of the hospital, and he's known him since he was little, and kind of like always been there for him. And so he has to like fight to convince the hospital to hire somebody with autism.
I met Sean Murphy when he was 14 years old.
Sean! Just act like a normal human being.
He was, and he still is, an extraordinary young man.
But of course, they do manage to, you know, convince them. And so then the show is just how Sean Murphy, you know, adjusts and what he goes through.
How about you tell us a little more about the specific characters?
Yes.
Maybe the ones you like the most.
Yes. Well, I very much like Sean Murphy. And Freddie Highmore does a really great job playing him. It's important to remember that autism is a spectrum disorder, which means that it can manifest itself in really different ways.
Different for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. Although, of course, there are similarities. But his is kind of the classic. He has a really hard time relating to people, recognizing their facial cues. He doesn't always get what we would consider the etiquette between conversations. He doesn't always get that right.
You're very arrogant. Do you think that helps you be a good surgeon?
but he has a really strong desire to be a doctor because of his backstory. His dad was like alcoholic, and he had a brother who he was really, really close to as a kid. You know, because of their dad, they kind of like drew close to each other, and his brother, you know, really looked out for him. And this isn't a spoiler because it's in the like first episode, so it's fine. But when they were kids, they decided to run away from home because of the dad. And they were staying in some like abandoned train warehouse, and they were playing on top of one of them, and there was just an accident, and his brother fell and he died. And
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Okay. Whoa. Okay. Cool.
And Sean kind of like froze. He had wanted to be a doctor before that, and his brother had given him this little toy scalpel, you know, and he used to hold it. It would be like a comfort for him, a tactile comfort, something to help him with stimming, which a lot of people with autism do.
And one of the saddest things in any story at all to hit you is an object someone keeps to remind them of someone they lost.
My brother went to heaven in front of my eyes. I couldn't save them. It's sad.
He had already known Dr. Glassman when he was younger because Dad actually killed the rabbit, and Dr. Glassman was his neighbor, and they knew he was a doctor, and so Sean wants to take his rabbit to him to be fixed. And in that way, Dr. Glassman came to know him and came to know about his family situation, and so was there for him when his brother died. So he really wants to look out for him, and that's why he helped him, you know, like get through medical school and everything, and now he wants to help him, and he's like an advocate for him.
We hire Sean, and we give hope to those people with limitations, that those limitations are not what they think they are, that they do have a shot.
You know, feels that even though Sean has autism, that it's not gonna keep him from being an excellent soldier. Surgeon. It is important to make the distinction because it's a stereotype sometimes people don't know. He does happen to have savant syndrome. What that means is that he thinks differently. He's a genius, you know, like he can picture things and think of things totally different to other people.
Buys us 2 weeks of life. I don't like it. ECMO requires blood thinners. She just had brain surgery. It could cause a catastrophic bleed.
No, ECMO and its complications may be our only avenue.
We can join them.
Now, is it more common to have savant syndrome and be autistic? Yes. But are most people who are on the autism spectrum savants? No. But he has both, and it makes for an interesting show. Oftentimes, each episode is sort of this like pull and tug between his brilliance and the ways that he is held back, sometimes by himself or by the way other people perceive him because of the autism. So it makes for a really good, you know, interesting show. Nice. Yeah.
So tell us about some of the other characters.
Well, so there's Dr. Melendez. He's one of the like main guys. Like he's who Sean and the other residents work under, and he's pretty not into the idea of working with Sean. There's a lot of, you know, conflict there.
He's got a serious deficit.
Child is alive today because of that deficit.
And tomorrow one may be dead because of it.
Then there is also Claire Brown, played by Antonia Thomas, who I love, and she's kind, she's nice, that's the same thing as kind. She's just like really sweet.
Like a mom friend.
Yeah, exactly. Like a mom friend.
Ow!
Are you watching this? And then there is my favorite character, Leah, who is Sean's neighbor in the apartments that he lives at. And she is just this like really optimistic, sweet person. And she just sort of barges into Sean's life.
Full speed ahead.
Yeah, exactly. Which he's like, why did you just walk into my apartment? And now you're opening a beer, sitting on my couch.
Islands in the stream, that is what we are. No one in between, how can we be wrong?
But she challenges him in a really, really nice way, and the way that their relationship grows over time is really sweet.
Ouch, no, do not remember that. Or that.
No, thank you.
And no spoilers, but if at certain points some things don't affect you emotionally, you have no soul, and I don't want to know you anyway.
So, for why is this your favorite thing?
Well, it's my favorite thing in part for some reason I can't quite explain. I have always had interest in autism spectrum disorder. I read a book about it, the Babysitter's Club book.
I remember that book.
Yeah,
It was one of my favorites when I
Secret
was
of
little.
Susan. I loved the Babysitter's Club, and after I read that book and I was like 10, I just thought it was so fascinating.
I just remember not getting it at all.
Yeah, but it just really emotionally affected me for some reason, and I found it fascinating, and I decided then and there that when I grew up, I wanted to work with autistic children, which I did get to do. I'm not doing right now, but I did have the chance to be a behavioral therapist, and it was the best work I've ever done. So I already had an interest in that subject matter, and I went into it a little suspicious, like, I hope you're gonna do right. And I think they did a really good job, and I was very interested in what other people who actually who actually were on the autism spectrum, and I've read mostly positive things. What I like about the show is not simply that it's about someone with autism, a subject I find interesting. What I like about the show is the realism of it. Sometimes in TV and movies, especially when it's autistic people with savant syndrome, it can kind of put them up on this, I don't know, this upper level or something, and not show them as full, complete people. And he is. Basically, it shows him as having human faults that don't have to do with his autism. Sometimes people are just rude or, unbending in their ways. And so the creators and producers and writers, they didn't just tippy-toe around the fact that, because he's autistic, we can't portray him in a realistic way. He can only ever be good and have that kind of fear that a lot of other, people like that would have. It's very realistic. You like almost all the characters, you're interested in their stories. So it makes you feel really good. It does also kind of break your heart. It warms your heart and it breaks your heart. I highly, highly recommend it. I liked it a lot.
That we're going back in time momentarily. And back in time.
And then we magically came back to the present.
What do these things have in common? Heartbreak, heartbreak, doopity-doo. I've got another heartbreak for you. Super Paper Mario, it breaks your heart in a bunch of different spots, and then at the end, it breaks your heart in sort of a happy and sentimental way.
There is one particular section of the show in particular that is very much like that, where your heart is broken, but in a sort of satisfied way.
Yeah, bittersweet. Bittersweet is a good way to describe it.
Yeah.
Or sometimes it'll be a heartbreak sort of feeling, but with something very happy happening.
Yeah.
Like,
which often makes you cry more.
Yeah.
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 Like the ending of Super Paper Mario. It's a happy ending, and it makes me cry for 2 days straight.
But I mean, even with the heartbreak, there is also heartwarming. So that's another episode done. Yeah. I really thought you were going to miss that high five. So, like I said, season 1 is over, but it was on ABC. I don't know yet that We don't know if season 2 is coming, but here's hoping. But in the meantime, you can catch up on Hulu.
You can get Super Paper Mario for, I think you can buy it for about $50, or you can
We'll
get
put the price right here.
or you can get a used copy for about $10, and with dedication you can probably play it over a weekend.
Do you guys have any favorites?
Or do you like our favorites?
Yeah, or dislike our favorites, or want to tell us why you agree or disagree or whatever, comment.
But
We'd
don't
love
be
for you to
mean
comment.
to us.
Yeah, we said that in the first episode.
we still don't want you
I
to be
actually
mean to us.
don't really care if
I
you
do.
are, but I'm 30,
I mean-
so I've reached that point in my life. She's 14, so maybe don't be mean to, children. Goodbye. Feels like we just said hi, but now it's time to say goodbye. Goodbye.
That kind of
We could speak. Be sure to check out the description box below where we have our Patreon, along with all of our social media links where we do silly things.
Yeah, where we talk about stuff if you want more regular updates.
Yes. See you next month.
Bye! Thanks for watching.
I would stay on the crashing wave with you. I would stay on the edge.
If you like that blooper, make sure you're subscribed so that you can come back again and see the blooper video that's gonna be coming. That wasn't great.
It'll be good.
Yeah.